I was not born into power, I was born into silence. Silence imposed by poverty, by abuse, by shame, and by a world that had already decided how far a black girl from rural Mississippi was allowed to go. Long before cameras, stages, or wealth, there was a little girl learning very early that pain could live quietly inside you while the world kept moving as if nothing had happened. And for a long time, I believed that silence was my destiny. I was born in 1954, in a place where opportunity was not promised and safety was not guaranteed. I was raised by my grandmother, a woman of discipline and faith, who taught me to read before I fully understood the meaning of the words. But education did not protect me from what happened behind closed doors. As a child, I was abused repeatedly by people who were supposed to protect me. That kind of pain doesn't just hurt the body. It rewires the mind. It teaches you to disappear. By the time I was a teenager, I believed that my life was already ruined. I got pregnant at 14. I gave birth to a baby boy who died shortly after. That loss crushed whatever was left of my childhood. I carried shame like it was my identity. I was convinced that nothing extraordinary could come from someone like me, but even then something inside me refused. A quiet voice that said, "Survive first, meaning will come later." When I moved to live with my father, everything changed. Not because life became easy, but because discipline entered my world. My father demanded excellence, not as punishment, but as preparation. He taught me that structure is not the enemy of freedom, it is the pathway to it. For the first time, I began to see that my voice mattered. I spoke in school. I performed. I competed in speech contests. And every time I stood in front of people, something powerful happened. I felt aligned. I felt alive. I didn't understand it then, but communication was becoming my leverage. While others were trying to escape their circumstances physically, I was escaping mentally. Words gave me access to rooms my background never could. That realization changed everything. I stopped seeing my voice as something to hide and started treating it as an asset. My first steps into media were not glamorous. I worked in radio and local television. I made mistakes. I was awkward. I was told I was too emotional, too expressive, too much. And when I moved to Baltimore to co-host a morning show, I failed publicly. The ratings dropped. I was removed. People whispered that I wasn't cut out for television. That rejection hurt deeply, because it touched the same wound I had carried my entire life, the fear of not being enough. But failure taught me a lesson success never could. I was not failing because I lacked talent. I was failing because I was pretending to be someone else. I was trying to fit into a format that did not match my nature. That moment forced a decision. Either I shrink to fit the industry, or I build something that fits me. When I was offered a chance to host a talk show in Chicago, it was not positioned as an opportunity to change television. It was survival. The show was struggling. The time slot was brutal. But I made one choice that changed everything. I decided to tell the truth. Not sensational truth, human truth. I stopped performing and started connecting. I spoke openly. I listened deeply. I allowed vulnerability to exist on screen. And something unexpected happened. People didn't turn away. They leaned in. Ratings didn't grow because of drama. They grew because of trust. The Oprah Winfrey Show became a mirror. People saw themselves reflected, not judged. That was my first real business lesson. Attention follows authenticity, and trust compounds faster than money. As the show grew, offers came in endorsements, partnerships, contracts, and here is where the financial turning point happened. I realized that being paid well is not the same as owning power. Salary has a ceiling, equity does not. I made a decision that many considered risky. I chose ownership over comfort. I negotiated control. I founded Harpo Productions so I would never again be told how my voice should sound or what my story should be. That decision changed my financial trajectory forever. When you own the platform, you own the upside. When you own the message, you control the legacy. As my influence expanded, so did my responsibility. I understood that visibility without intention is just noise. I launched the book club, not as entertainment, but as elevation. Millions of people began reading together. Authors' lives changed overnight. Entire conversations shifted. That taught me another lesson. Wealth is most powerful when it moves others forward. There were moments of doubt. When I launched the Oprah Winfrey Network, it struggled. Ratings were low. Critics were loud. People questioned whether I had finally reached beyond my limits. But growth often looks like failure before it looks like mastery. I stayed. I learned. I recalibrated. And slowly, the network found its voice. Financial success did not arrive in one dramatic moment. It arrived through consistency, through patience, through saying no far more often than yes. I invested deliberately. I partnered selectively. I aligned only with brands and ideas that matched my values. That discipline is what turned success into a billion-dollar outcome. But let me be clear, money was never the point. Freedom was. The ability to choose. The ability to walk away. The ability to say, this no longer serves who I am becoming. The greatest lesson my life taught me is this: your pain is not a liability. It is data. If you listen to it, it will teach you where your power lives. Everything I endured trained me to recognize truth, to value empathy, to build trust at scale. I did not win because the system favored me. I won because I refused to abandon myself. I refused to stay silent. I refused to believe that my past had the authority to dictate my future. If you are listening to this and you feel behind, broken, underestimated, understand this: nothing is wasted. The very thing you survived may become the foundation of what you build. So now I want to ask you something. What part of your story are you still hiding that could actually be the key to your next level? Write it in the comments. Say it out loud. Because clarity begins with honesty. If this story resonated with you, like this video. If you want more real stories about power, growth, and transformation, subscribe now. This channel is not about motivation. It is about decisions. And the next one is yours.